AEW presents their annual All Out pay-per-view this Saturday, September 20th from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Several high-profile matches, segments, and title matches are set for the show. And could AEW President and CEO Tony Khan have some major surprises up his sleeve for this big pay-per-view event? We're going to go through 5 possible major surprises that could be set for AEW All Out this Saturday in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And as I said in the intro, this Saturday it is AEW All Out from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. A special start time of 3 p.m. Eastern. And considering it's on the same day as WWE's WrestlePalooza, not directly head-to-head anymore due to the change in start time, but also given the fact it's one of AEW's biggest shows of the year, could we see several major surprises in store? Could Tony Khan have some surprises up his sleeve, as he usually does for his big pay-per-view events? We're going to go into 5 possible major surprises that could happen this coming Saturday at All Out. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let's begin with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage being victorious over FTR. We know which match is going to be opening the show at AEW All Out. AEW President and CEO Tony Khan revealed on the All Out media call that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR, of course with Stokely in their corner, will be opening the show in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's a very historic moment for Copeland and Cage because, of course, they reunited recently at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view and were victorious in their first tag team match in well over a decade at that point. They also now are going to be reuniting in their hometown. The last time that Copeland and Cage were in a ring in Toronto together, it was when Adam Copeland was victorious over Christian Cage on an episode of AEW Dynamite for the TNT Championship. This time around, their tag team partners, they reunited to fend off common enemies. First, they dealt with Christian Cage and the Patriarchy, defeating Kip Sabian and Killswitch at Forbidden Door. Now their attention has fully turned to FTR. And you feel like at some point, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are going to be going after the AEW tag team titles, don't you? It was really thought that this match could end up being for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, with FTR challenging for the AEW World Tag Team titles at Forbidden Door. Many thought that FTR were going to win the belts, and then this match, which has been planned for quite some time, would be for the Tag Team Championships. I suppose what AEW and Tony Khan is probably utilizing to their advantage here is that they can always revisit this with the tag team titles on the line. And Copeland and Cage have only had one match together as a tag team at Forbidden Door, so they probably need to have more matches before they can actually challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. That is why I think in their hometown, I think they win this match. And then in the next pay-per-view, which of course I believe is Wrestle Dream, they then go on to possibly challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, depending, of course, who is the champions at that point, because there is a 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team titles at the All Out pay-per-view, which, of course, is Bro Dito, the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and the Don Callis family. So who knows who the champions will be coming out of the All Out pay-per-view. But I think Cope and Cage, once again, are victorious over FTR. I suppose you could have a situation whereby FTR are victorious due to Stokely on the outside. There is the numbers advantage there. I did, in a previous video, talk about the possibility of Gangrel reuniting with both Christian and Cope to reunite the Brood. Perhaps that will happen. We'll have to wait and see. But I feel like Cope and Cage are going to be victorious, and then possibly they might branch out into becoming the AEW World Tag Team Champions in the process. Let me know your thoughts about that. Now, a reminder before we continue on with this countdown video. This video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our great affiliates. You can see them throughout the video on the sidebar, including NordVPN right here. All the information is in the video description below. It'll be pinned in the comment section as well. And being a big pay-per-view / premium live event weekend, a lot of people are wondering, Does it need to cost that much? WrestlePalooza's moving from Peacock to ESPN. Can I afford that? AEW pay-per-view events, what do they really look like? Well, if you get yourself a VPN, you can save yourself a bunch of money. What you can do is you can get a VPN like NordVPN. You can change your location to an international territory where you can watch all of your WWE programming through Netflix. Like here in the UK, we get Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main roster PLEs, NXT PLEs, archive content. We watch Saturday Night's Main Event for free on YouTube. You can do so too. Get a VPN, change your location. You can get your WWE content that way. Also, your AEW content, we watch it all really through Triller TV over here in the UK, at least I do. You can get AEW Plus subscription, and if you have an AEW Plus subscription on Triller TV, you can watch all old episodes of Dynamite and Collision, as well as AEW Rampage. In addition to that, you can watch old AEW pay-per-view events as well. And when you order pay-per-view events in the future for AEW, you can get them at a discounted rate, and you can buy pay-per-view bundles. Triller TV's got one going right now in which you can purchase AEW All Out and WrestleDream next month for a discounted price. So utilize NordVPN, use our link. It's in the video description below. It's pinned in the comment section. You can scan that QR code right there. You can save yourself some money. If you're in the US, you can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra. Save yourself some money, get yourself a great product, and support the channel in the process. Your support is really much appreciated. Let's move on to another potential major surprise, which is Mark Briscoe defeating the devil himself, MJF. Of course, at AEW All Out, it is Mark Briscoe versus MJF in a grudge match, and it's tables and tacks. Now, Mark Briscoe and MJF, they've been feuding for the last several months, haven't they? And the reason I think Mark Briscoe wins this one is because MJF had specifically requested to work with Mark Briscoe. When this storyline first started, when MJF was still with the Hurt Syndicate, we had heard, and this was really prior to All in Texas, we had heard that MJF explicitly singled out Mark Briscoe as someone he wanted to work with. Mark Briscoe is still transitioning from being a tag team wrestler pretty much the majority of his career into becoming a singles talent, and a very popular one at that. And MJF at this point in his career already in AEW in particular is a made man. He's one of the biggest stars that they have. Certainly one of the highest paid talents that they have, former AEW World Champion. He's got a pretty insane schedule at the moment between AEW and an upcoming CMLL match against Mystico at their anniversary show, where he's, of course, the World Light Heavyweight Champion. In addition to that, he's filming Violent Night 2 in Winnipeg, so he's really all over the place at the moment. And I feel like MJF will want to help elevate Mark Briscoe to that next level as a maybe potential main event level babyface. Mark Briscoe is incredibly popular. AEW is light on babyfaces at the moment, with Will Ospreay recently having neck surgery. We don't know when he's going to be back. You've got Swerve Strickland. He recently had knee surgery. Again, we don't know when he's going to be back. So AEW is in a need to elevate babyfaces up the card. We've seen Daniel Garcia recently switch from babyface to heel. Not that he was a top babyface. We've seen Adam Cole out with injury. So there's a lot of top babyfaces in AEW that are no longer available in that role. And MJF losing here and elevating Mark Briscoe might be exactly what is needed. You could potentially also see maybe Mystico gets involved. Of course, there is that feud that's still ongoing that was really born in AEW and has now spilled over into CMLL. Perhaps Mystico gets involved in that as well. But I'm going to say that Mark Briscoe picks up one of the biggest victories of his career here and defeats MJF at All Out, and maybe even sets the table even more for MJF's rivalry with Mystico over that CMLL World Light Heavyweight Championship. The Hurt Syndicate, we mentioned them earlier on, with MJF at one point was a member, but he's now no longer a member of the Hurt Syndicate. But could they be about to get even more members? Well, a recent report suggested that indeed we could be getting new members of the Hurt Syndicate. It came courtesy of Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, who did deliver a really, really interesting report. This was only a couple of days ago. They said, quote, "The Hurt Syndicate have been a dominant faction for the year they've been in All Elite Wrestling, and they could be adding some reinforcements. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp has learned there has been discussion in adding new, younger members to the group. Of course, one of the criticisms is that Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin are all in their 40s or 50s. Now, naturally, Cedric Alexander, of course, previously a member of the Hurt Business in WWE, has been speculated online, but Fightful say they've not heard of him being brought in at this time. He's also been working with TNA as of late, but there's no real details of if he's signed to a TNA contract or anything like that. But Fightful have also heard that potential new signings could be added to the faction. So seemingly the Hurt Syndicate is going to be expanding. And when it pertains to AEW All Out, of course, you've got the entire Hurt Syndicate in a match against Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. It's going to be a trios match. It's going to be Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP facing off against Ricochet, Bishop Corn, and Toa Leona. And maybe the Hurt Syndicate, particularly MVP, they've got a surprise up their sleeve. Just when you thought that it was only 3 members of the Hurt Syndicate, they are expanding and they're moving into other territories and they're going to have a brand new signing, be a new member of the Hurt Syndicate. Now, who that could be, your guess truly is as good as mine. We haven't really heard that much about which person that could be. I mean, Sean Ross Sapp did say in the reporting there that new signings could be added. I can't really think of many sort of free agents as to who potentially that could be at the moment. I mean, let me know your prediction about that in the comment section below. Who do you think, if there was a new member of the Hurt Syndicate, it would be outside of Cedric Alexander, which of course does make a lot of sense. There is, stuff from the past involving Big Swole and her departure from AEW about how realistic it would be that Alexander comes in. Plus, as I mentioned, he seems pretty factored into TNA at this point, and they've got the WWE NXT relationship and possibly a big invasion storyline happening there, so it feels quite unlikely that Cedric Alexander would come into this group, but of course you never know. But I think we could see a situation where maybe the Hurt Syndicate are victorious, and the reason maybe they're victorious is because the latest member of the faction is revealed at All Out. Let's move on and talk about the icon Sting possibly returning to AEW television. Well, of course, his protege, Darby Allin, is set to face off in a massive match against the leader of the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, in a coffin match at AEW All Out. Now, being a coffin match involving Darby Allin and involving Jon Moxley, this match clearly is just going to be complete and utter madness. There is going to be violence. There's going to be weapons. It's a Moxley match. There's going to be blood. Everything you can possibly think of is probably going to happen in this match. And being a no disqualification, anything goes match, you're going to see outside interference naturally from the Death Riders. So Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Marina Shafir, Daniel Garcia, they're all going to be involved. And Darby Allin will need some backup. Now, Bryan Danielson did say, didn't he, on Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, the September to Remember edition of the show, that he wasn't going to get involved. The expectation is Danielson will be there on commentary, but he's not going to get involved in the match. Although he did have a special request for Darby Allin that he whispered in his ear. Now, we don't know what that request was. We don't know what it will be. Maybe the request was, bring Sting along with you, or make sure Sting's there. There was reports that Sting was backstage at AEW All In Texas. He is local to the area, and frankly, a bit like All In, the prior year in London, in which Sting appeared and came to the aid of Darby Allin. Many people expected Sting to return at some point during that show. It didn't happen. Darby Allin did return, and he actually came down from the ceiling, similar to how Sting did in WCW and AEW. But we didn't see Sting. So he wasn't at All In. Maybe he's at All Out. We'll have to see if that is indeed the case. It is part of his last time in the makeup year where he's doing these convention appearances in the makeup. So perhaps we do see Sting one more time. He is still signed to AEW. He's under what effectively is a Legends contract. He's still affiliated with the company. And given that it's a massive match for Darby Allin, that you'd probably lean towards Darby Allin maybe winning, Sting appearing and kind of evening the playing field does feel like something that could possibly happen. So Sting appearing at All Out, I wouldn't be too shocked if that was the case. And finally, could we have a brand new AEW World Champion? I think the expectation for the main event of AEW All Out is an AEW World Championship match as Hangman Adam Page defends the title against the TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. Now, there is some stipulations and things that have been added on to this story because, as agreed on the special September to Remember edition of AEW Dynamite and Collision, if any member of the Don Callis family interfere, Kyle Fletcher will be disqualified and stripped of the AEW TNT Championship. Now, there had been reports previously, hadn't there, that actually Wardlow was set to face Hangman Page at All Out. This was something that was later disputed by people from within AEW, and specifically Tony Khan on the AEW All Out media call prior to this weekend's events. He actually went out of his way to insist the plan has always been for Kyle Fletcher to face off against Hangman Adam Page. Fletcher has signed a 5-year contract with AEW. AEW are very, very high on Kyle Fletcher. And really, they should be. I mean, they've been focused maybe a bit too much, AEW, in recent years on ex-WWE stars or ex-TNA stars and talent that are in their 40s and talent that are maybe their primes behind them. Well, you've got someone like Kyle Fletcher. He is 26 years old. He is they call him the proto star, but he's a bit of a prodigy as well. 26 years old, already a TNT champion, and the sky truly feels like it could be the limit. And given the fact that this is a major event for AEW, maybe they do want to make a splash. Maybe they do want to really make headlines and shock people. And maybe Kyle Fletcher becomes the AEW World Champion and AEW try to create a brand new star. Now, you would say, well, Hangman Page has only just won the AEW World Championship. He won it all in Texas. Why would he drop it so quickly? Maybe he would do it if it was good for business, and maybe Tony Khan wants to elevate a new star. Now, some people are pointing out that when they're saying any member of the Don Callis family interfere, Fletcher will be disqualified. That doesn't necessarily mean someone that isn't part of the Don Callis family could interfere. That is entirely possible. You could maybe see a situation where Swerve returns, and Swerve goes, look, I wanted to get the title out of the hands of the Death Riders, but wasn't too thrilled that it was in the hands of Hangman Adam Page, even though they did kind of make up and to sort of end to AEW All in Texas. Maybe that's something to consider. Maybe a brand new member of the Don Callis family appears. There's lots of different ways that they could go around this. So I don't know. Something in me says that AEW might be looking to make history. It feels likely, doesn't it, that Hangman Adam Page would retain. But what if there was a situation where not only did Kyle Fletcher win, but he's the first man to hold the TNT Championship and the AEW World Championship at the same time, youngest ever AEW World Champion in company history? It would be a massive statement of intent by Tony Khan to try and elevate him to the next level. But as I've said, clearly they're big fans of Kyle Fletcher, and clearly this has been the plan for the long time. Maybe their plans call for Fletcher to actually win the AEW World Championship in the process. We will see this Saturday at All Out. So there you go, guys. There are 5 potential major surprises that could happen this weekend at AEW All Out. A reminder, you can see right there, we will be live with a live stream watch-along and a post-show for AEW All Out. The likelihood is probably it will be All Out with a watch-along. That will probably go into a WrestlePalooza watch-along. There might even be some overlap. We'll have separate streams. Don't worry about that. Then we'll do a WrestlePalooza post-show. Then after that, we'll do an All Out post-show. So it's going to be a busy weekend. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You can see right there, we are on our road to 25K in 2025. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Click the notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live or a new video is uploaded. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.